Okay, so for the next bit, I don't have an article for the next part. However, I do have. Here, give me 1 second. Let me find it again. What I'm looking for is there's an X account that I follow a lot. It's called
The leading report.
yeah,
I'm
the
looking at the
leading
pictures.
report, and
Got the
oh yeah, no,
President
it's
Trump. Hopefully,
Epstein.
will,
Yeah, there we go.
yeah.
Oh no, that's not it. That's a different one.
There's
Uh,
a President Trump. Hopefully, will make a deal with Iran, and then there's the Jeffrey Epstein blamed Bill Clinton for the 2008
yeah,
financial
that was it. That
collapse.
was it.
The
I
real,
was trying to find
yeah,
the exact the X account.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
so it
real enemy of the
says
finance system is Bill Clinton.
yeah, Jeffrey Epstein blamed Bill Clinton for the 2008 financial collapse. The real enemy, quote, the real enemy of the finance system was Bill Clinton, unquote. Now, again, we don't have I don't have a news article to pull up. That's just the leading report. I did no digging. However, you sent me the plot twist
Yeah, there's
from
the tweet.
Quantian. Let's see, I'm
Hmm.
going to read it. It says in August 2006, Epstein, a month after the federal investigation of him began, invested 57 million in the Bear Stearns high grade structured credit strategies enhanced leverage hedge fund. This fund was heavily leveraged in mortgage-backed collateralized debt obligations. On April 18th, 2007, an investor in the fund, who had $57 million invested, discussed redeeming his investment. At this time, the fund had a leverage ratio of 17 to 1, which meant for every dollar invested, there were $17 of borrowed funds. Therefore, the redemption of this investment it would have been equivalent to removing 1 billion from the thinly traded CDO market. The selling of the CDO assets to meet the redemptions that month began a repricing process and general freeze in the CDO market. The repricing of the CDO assets caused the collapse of the funds 3 months later in July, and the eventual collapse of Bear Stearns in March 2008. It is likely Epstein lost most of this investment, but it's not known how much was his. Okay, so uh, basically, we all know that in 2008, that was the 2007, 2008, that was the housing market crash. That's the
Yep.
whole mortgage-backed securities.
Yep. The
The,
movie, The Big Short.
yeah, the Big Short. And to get into a little detail, basically, it's when it comes to like loans, like when you get a mortgage for a house, generally your bank does not keep that mortgage. It's gonna try to sell it off to different companies. You're still paying, but the bank's trying to get extra money out of it. Trying to get the money now, and other like the places
Yep.
they're trying to get the money, so it's weird circles. However, they would stack so mortgages on how safe quote unquote they are like A, double A, triple A, where A is like these people have a habit of not paying on time, they're not the credit's
Hmm.
not too good, and then they would combine those with double A and triple A's, which is these people pay on time, they have good credits, they would stack all those together in a bundle called a mortgage backed security and sell those off. And then again, it's the crash because people realize a lot of these companies are like, hey, these aren't like these. A lot of these people aren't making as many payments as they're supposed to, and a lot of that stems now. Granted, Epstein says he blamed Bill Clinton, and it should be noted that Bill Clinton started the what was it? Oh yeah, the
The Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
well, the I was like he lowered the mortgage rates, making it easier for people to borrow, which means that more people are buying. However, the more people getting those loans means that you're going to have a larger pool of people who may not be paying on time, and this, that, and the other. Again, it's a noble goal for be like, hey, I want more people to buy houses, but
Hmm.
it's also be noted that the more people buying, getting mortgages usually increases. Like, hey, there's a lot more people also not paying their mortgages or not paying on time. They're not
Yep.
paying on time. That means these companies who bought these mortgage-backed securities aren't getting the money they need. Well, the money they think they're getting.
Hmm.
And then once someone starts to realize, now I was reading a book, and apparently the quote between the people trading the securities is when it happens. The quote is, I'll be out, you'll be out. Meaning they're going to be out of the market by the time the crash happens. So they kind of knew what was happening, but that's a I can't remember
Yeah.
what book I read that in. So, but once it did tip, it tipped hard, thus
Hmm.
causing the crash of 2007 2008. As stated in that X post, that well, it seems like Jeffrey Epstein
Hmm.
kind of saw that coming as well. So he pulled
Hmm.
his investments out. Well, what we believe. So, yeah, that is certainly now a
Right.
good possibility that he
Right.
caused it.
Isn't it the most insane thing about this whole Epstein leak is learning that he was behind like basically every horrible thing for like the past 10 years,
Oh
including like
yeah,
video game microtransactions.
yeah. You told me about that. I didn't look into it, but man, like here I am, like blaming Bethesda for their
Mm-mm.
armored horse in Oblivion.
Right? No, it wasn't the armored horse.
It was
Everyone
the
was wrong.
PDF file.
It was a PDF file.
Oh
It
man,
ruined
it's so
everything.
weird to think like oh, what, like everything he's like I don't mean to put it in a gross way, but everything he sunk his teeth into,
Mm-hmm.
like it's
Yeah.
that's nuts.
He
And
is
well,
like the godfather of enshittification of everything.
yeah, and like what was it? 4chan polls? Is that what you told me?
Yep.
Like,
Slash poll on 4chan was him. Probably, I think the Ghislaine Maxwell was in charge of basically, or she was a head mod on the. She was like a Reddit super mod in general, and she was also, I think, like the head mod or one of the head mods of Reddit's r slash politics. So like, yeah, it's
really?
so, yeah, dude. So much of this is coming out, and it's just like everything, every single thing that you think got worse over like the past 15, 20 years was because they intentionally made it worse on purpose to make people angry and upset and like fight each other, and like it's not like they didn't plan out every single specific event, but they intentionally pushed the domino hoping it would end up where it is. Like
Yeah,
so many things.
yeah. And like,
It's
I
all
heard.
it's
Keep going, keep going.
you go. No, you.
Okay,
I was just gonna be like it's crazy.
I forgot who I was listening to. I want to say Tim Pool. I want to say that I think Tim Cast, but I could
Hmm.
absolutely be wrong. But a theory that posted was like what what Jeffrey Epstein would do is he would invite people onto his plane, onto his island, maybe people who didn't know at least at the time what was happening, and then
Hmm.
be like, hey, here's a young girl, on my island, and then while certain things that won't be spoken happen, get
Hmm.
pictures, videos, and be like, okay,
Hmm.
now I have evidence of this. I need
Hmm.
you to start doing this.
Right? I believe there was a it was either a New York Times or an Atlantic article that basically went over that like Elon, not Elon, Jeffrey Epstein was sort of like the de facto power broker. And the way the system works is like if you're a very rich and powerful person and you want to have more power and influence, what you do is you basically create these like social suicide pacts where
Oh
you
yeah.
say, okay, we're like, and you do it on purpose. So you have your small like core group of like Epstein and co who would do like the horrible, evil, like crazy stuff. Um, and they were doing it on purpose, partly as a suicide pact, but so you get sort of a reputation as the people who do this, but are so powerful that they kind of can't be touched, right? And then what you do is you put your feelers out for people who are interested in sort of joining the primary group to do sort of the horrible stuff, and hopefully people who are in power. And you find some people who might be interested in it, and you maybe put them in positions of power, right? So you're kind of looking for people who are already in power that are inclined towards you, and you're looking for people who are not in power but want to be and are also inclined towards you that you could help put into power, right? So you're looking for power that exists and power that could be. And then from there, once you start building out like Epstein and Co, doing these horrible things, document it, creating this like sort of giant suicide pact, because the more dirt you have on them, the more they have to trust you, and the more dirt they have on you, the more you have to trust them, right? You're doing these like suicide pacts,
Yeah.
and then from there you start roping in people who aren't necessarily associated with some of this, but you need influence over them, you need power over them, right? So if you can
Mm-hmm.
get them to be associated with you unwillfully or unwittingly, now you have power over them, right? Now you're known as like part of, oh, well, you have connections with like Epstein and Co. I don't know, man. I don't know that I want to like,
Mm-hmm.
work with you, or, if you can like unwittingly rope some people in Well, now you can exert influence over them because their reputations are at risk. Because you just need to out the fact that, haha, you were a part of this. You're a part of the team, and we just have to all say that you're a part of the team, and you go down with us. So you're going to do what we say, which is what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and from there, and that's sort of how they built out their network. And some of the people would like, come over to their side and be like, I guess if it's going to be like this, I may as well reap the rewards and like work with the power they're giving me. And it's like you would rope them in and hope that they would be amiable to like, hey, we'll give you, we know that we kind of roped you in on this without you winning, without you knowing, but if you want, we can help you get stuff. Like we've got power, we've got connections, we've got influence. You just gotta officially join the Suicide Pact. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and there's a lot of that, and then if you were someone who's not super in power, and you're like, no, I'm gonna come forward about all of this, they're like, you kidding me? We've got so much stuff that we can just we've got enough stuff that we can selectively release that basically just destroy you. Also, we could just have you killed. Like this is just an option that's on the table for us, because the people who could charge us either have no clue what's going on intentionally, or because if they did, that would like set off the suicide pact. Or the people who do know, we'll just set the suicide pact off on them. So like you could try to come forward with this. No one's going to believe you. And if they start believing you, we can just have you quickly handled. Um, so yeah, that's basically sort of how the ring got bigger and bigger and bigger and more influential.
Yeah, and like
Um,
another thing like with the
which is
suicide
why
pact.
his
Oh,
arrest
sorry.
was so. No, I
You
was
can
just
you.
saying, which is why his arrest was so both important and kind of meaningless, because he was still sending like emails to like the treasury from that New York federal prison. Like
No, yeah, was
it
he like
meant
I don't know when he got into the prison, but he apparently, according to
he was arrested in
someone on
like
TikTok,
2007, 2008.
he's playing Fortnite in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
2019.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, I guess
well,
if you're
because
rich enough, you can have that.
if you're in charge of if you have a suicide, like a power suicide pact with the people who basically control the system, you can pull on. It's like when you hear about the mob bosses, like the cartel bosses who are in prison, and they still operate from in prison. And actually, in many ways, it's safer for them to do so because they can control the channels. Um, so like there are some theories that like he went to prison on purpose to sort of like there's I don't know if you've heard about it where like they intentionally leaked some of this stuff. Though they would do it like intentional leaks to like fringe areas of the internet to help discount the entire like discredit their own story.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I heard that.
which is where like you basically just leak it to intentional like fringe skit like board social media boards populated by almost exclusively schizophrenics. You leak real stuff to them, and then no one will actually believe that it was real. Um,
Yeah,
and
like
so they
Pizzagate.
would do some stuff like yeah, right, or you'd intentionally or you'd change the characters. Um, but one of the things that they would do, or that people are speculating now, and honestly, given all the stuff I would believe it, is like he went to prison on purpose. One, so he could control channels. Two, um, so that like when the more basically in the system, the more vulnerable you make yourself, the more power you can exert. Um, so like doing this actually made him more powerful, and then basically he faked his suicide. Like there was a body double. He faked his suicide, and he's still running the operation. People are saying like from Israel because there's a lot of connections to like Israeli intelligence and Mossad and whatnot. And I think his dad was a um, former or no, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was like a former Mossad like top guy or something. But
Really, I
yeah,
didn't know that.
like all of this is like crazy, crazy, crazy. Um, but hey, you know what? Big ups, Massey.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen what's going. Oh, Thomas Massey. He's basically been like on a nonstop push to basically have them all, like basically everyone in the files. Like he's like drop all the files, and every single person who's mentioned in them for like doing something, jail, like
Yeah,
execution.
I have seen that. I've seen this, and I was gonna say, I don't know. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit back to the suicide pact thing. That might be like a reason why we see like a drop in the market.
Hmm.
Like I remember a little bit ago there was like a few days ago, actually, yeah, a couple days ago with the release of the Epstein files, there was a drop in the like the stock market, kind of
Hmm.
like like a suicide pact, like you were saying, like if this information gets out. Now back then they probably weren't thinking this, but
Well,
like the suicide pact. Well, now all this information is coming out. For example, Bill Gates in the documents. We got Bill Gates. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I I don't have evidence for this one. Like Elon Musk heard Trump allegations, things like that.
Yeah.
So once people are like, oh, we don't want to be associated with that, boom, market starts to go down a bit.
Yeah.
If I'm mistaken, I remember seeing like
Well,
articles like market's down for a bit.
yeah. The more sinister version of this is if you ascribe to the belief that most of the Epstein stuff is highly tied to like the Mossad and Israeli intelligence and whatnot. The follow up on that is that Israel wants to go to war with Iraq for some reason, or Iran, or whatever country it is.
Hmm.
Um, and Trump has been, pumping the brakes on that. Like, I don't really know, I don't really want to do it. And the idea is they use the whole suicide pact stuff to kind of shake the market and shake people's trust in the American institutions and like to shake the American political sphere by having the documents dropped on purpose to sort of like pressure Trump and be like, hey, just so you know, if you don't do what we ask, you are like we will destroy, all this. We will set the bomb off. Like the we will ignite the suicide pact. Which a very risky move,
I was
but
gonna say, but they dropped it.
well, they dropped some of it.
Yeah, that
There's
3 million
over 5
pages.
million pages.
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah, there's
apparently he's
still
also
more.
the most well documented. Jeffrey Epstein is the most well documented human in modern history,
Really? Okay.
beating out Chris Chan. Yep.
Re- yeah, I mean, you got 3 million pages on you from the government. You're probably well
Yeah.
documented.
Yeah. But
Yeah. Oh, another thing. Okay, I don't wanna steer away from, finance and
mhm.
economics, but like, I don't know if you got the TikTok, but Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at
Yeah,
Freddy's,
dude.
that's in the files.
He's in the files. Yeah, apparently Epstein was a SFM NSFW video freak.
I know. Yeah, the email's like, dude,
Also, apparently he subscribed to MatPat for game theory.
yeah, that doesn't entirely like that makes sense. If
Be-
you're looking at that kind of art on
mhm.
on the internet,
Because
you're probably gonna watch
the
some game theory episodes on it.
people, right? People theorize this by combing through some of the emails, one of which was sent to him from another YouTube commenter on a video, on a game theory video, saying no, it was actually Marionette or whatever the one of the characters' names is, which implies
Yeah.
that he was leaving theory.
Here's my theory on what happened on the bite of 87.
Yeah, but hey, that's just a theory, a conspiracy theory.
And then actually, the more I think about it, that makes sense. Because if he wants to get more kids on his plane, he probably has to be
Right?
in the know with what they like.
Right? That's probably why he played. That's probably why he played online,
Yeah, I
dude.
played Fortnite, dude. Like, here, come on my island. I'll get you free V-Bucks.
Right? Do you think his tag on there was CP Gunner as well?
Oh, but I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh man, that's
All
nuts.
right,
All right, well, we're
it
gonna
is
wrap it
crazy.
up here because that's kind of all I got for now.
Alrighty.
All right, well, uh, bye.
Until next time.
Until